Would you rather be forced to live the same day over and over again for a full year or take 3 years off of your life?
For how? What
Do I get to
both
pick
of us
the
doing?
day?
I was
Oh,
stretching.
shoot.
You're wiping your face. So wait, the same day for how long?
For a year.
Depends on the day.
Yeah, I know. That's the tough part. Do
If
we
it's
get
a
to
day,
choose the day?
if it's a day where our kids are just like,
oh, dude.
oh, could you imagine?
Well, that day alone takes.
Do we
3
get
years.
to choose?
Yeah, that day alone takes 3 years off your life.
Yeah, for real. I think it'd take more off your life.
Yeah.
I guess you could like try to figure out a way to. So the day doesn't have to play out the same way every
You're
single
just
time.
forced to relive the day.
Just has to be that day.
Yeah,
every
you're
single day.
reliving that day. You've seen Groundhog Day, right?
Yes.
Oh, that's my favorite movie.
They got a couple movies
One of my
like that,
favorite
right?
movie. One of my favorite movies.
yeah, there's
Yeah.
a few movies like that.
I never saw it, but there's a movie about like, I don't know if it was Valentine's or her birthday or something like that. And it was just like, she'd wake up and
Yeah.
Oh.
yeah, it was crazy. But
There was an
That's a
episode of
pretty
The
good
Flash
story.
where or something like that. Yeah.
it's an interesting concept.
You would die and wake up, and it was the same day. He was
Man,
like,
but
dang it.
there are some days that would be really cool. Like, you know, what if you're out hunting and you missed on a deer that you really wanted? You can like, I just
Sweet,
gotta
I'll
hit
do it tomorrow.
But just think how many times you'd have to gut that deer.
Yeah.
Over
well,
and
and really,
over
here's
and
the
over
thing:
again.
like,
There's
you
a
can
lot of
try
work,
to also
man.
keep track of like how many days it's been, but like you're reliving the same day over and over, so that's tough to keep track. So, like, what if on the last day
You don't realize it was the
you
last
don't realize it was the last day, and you're just being stupid. You're like, oh, it'll redo tomorrow. You're in prison. Like, like you know, like.
On day 364, you do something, or 365, you do something dumb.
And that's the thing. What if you don't know if it's a leap year or not? You don't know your days. Like you're like, ooh,
Do all the dumb stuff in the first 100
yeah,
days.
yeah,
Once
yeah.
you forget, that's when you got to start acting right.
man, yeah.
But yeah,
this is
man. I mean,
tough.
you could like
If it was a
you could
great-
pull lottery tickets.
Yeah, if it was a great day, I would be fine with it. Like if it was a great day,
here's the one-
so you get to relive a great day over and over.
but
Like, lottery tickets does you no good unless the drawing is that day.
that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. Maybe like it's tough.
I might get bored.
Probably, I'd have to find new things to do, but it's only 1 year off your life versus three. But in that 1 year, how many days
you
off
have-
my life do I actually lose?
But you have no control over what day.
Yeah,
it
that's
is.
the tough part. But I mean, think of like how many awful days you have out of 365. I feel like there's a decent chance you can get at least a mediocre day, you know?
But it's not like. I'd say it's a day out of your entire life. There's a lot of
just
days.
reliving that
There's a
day
lot
over
of
and
days
over.
I do not want to relive.
that is true.
You just experienced it 365 days in the same time somebody experienced one.
Yeah. Oh. Do we age? Like, do we age a year?
I don't
That's a
know.
good question.
Oh man,
good question.
Do you go back to the age you were during that day
Every time.
Oh. Because then, like, think of it like this. Like, what if you end up, like, having to go back to where you're in, like, middle school, you have no power. Like, it's just...
You have power right now.
No, you would be like the age
Kinda,
you are
like,
What
I
power
don't
do you
know.
have right now,
Well,
Brian?
I'm saying, like, now I got my... Yeah, I know.
Sit down.
Didn't happen. But I'm saying, like, now I got my own house. Like, if I got stuck in my house for a year, like, it's my house. I could do whatever. Like, I could just, oh, let me see if after this year's up, if this project would be cool. I finish it in one day. Good thing it won't be there tomorrow. You know what I mean? But, like, at my parents' house, as a middle schooler, what if it was, like, a bad day at school? And every single day for a year, I am forced to go to the bad day at school. That'd be
Yeah.
awful.
As
As an adult, I
but
could
you
just
can
be
make
like,
it a good day.
As an adult, I could just like make it whatever, and I can change my mind. I could just leave, like do whatever, but then I just have to redo all of that again the next day.
You can make it a good day though. You can start a food fight.
I mean, maybe
You could make every day a different day.
yeah,
You really could.
I mean,
you could skip
It'd be
class
the same day every day,
Yeah.
but it'd
and
be
then have
different.
to just you not
I
a whole
could
lot of
skip class,
consequences.
see what
Now, do the
happens.
consequences like still remain
Consequences.
consequences.
Depend.
Do they? I mean, does it like you build something? Does that go away, or do you still
I
have
would say
it?
it goes away.
Okay.
It did in
just resets.
It did in Groundhog Day. Every day was a reset,
So then the next day,
except for the
the
things
last
that,
one.
like in Groundhog Day, he learned piano in that time.
So skills.
Yeah, skills he acquired during that time, he maintained.
So that's the tough part. Is like, what if you worked out every day? You ain't getting any better because it's just one day.
That would be a skill you would.
Yeah.
Would it though? Because like in 1 year, somebody could get like pretty big in 1 year.
Pretty
Are you
swole.
gonna change? You know, if it's the same day over and over and it resets, or is it just your conscious?
Man, could you imagine if the day was when I was in that sling, or it was my surgery?
Oh, that would be horrible.
No, I did think of that, like my heart surgery in 2021. Like, what if it was that day? It would go by pretty quick because I was out the majority of the day. I was
Dude.
passed out. But
I'm sure you
The
would
nerve
find.
blocker. Oh,
I don't.
my
I wouldn't
dude, my
want
arm, like it didn't look like it was my arm. It just I
Yeah.
couldn't move it. It just was just lifeless. Oh, I hated
it
that.
sucks, but I think the
I hated
safe
that
bet
so
would have
much.
to be just in case it's a bad day. I think the safe bet would have to be I'll just take 3 years off my life.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it.
I'm taking that day.
Are you?
Really?
I'd take the day.
I mean, I have a lot of good days.
I
There's-
don't have. I have a lot of crappy days.
I mean, there are a lot of crappy days, but
I'd find some way to make it a good day.
yeah, that is true. That would
Every
be
day.
fun. I feel like that would make it interesting. Is trying
There's
to make
probably
it a good
some
day.
obscure sport out there that you could bet on.
Oh yeah, and you know.
But it goes away.
But if you
does
win
it?
it, like say in one day you wake up at like 4 a.m. You decide to go into a state where, well, no, in Oklahoma you could do that now. In Oklahoma you could bet on a sport or something, right? Say you go to wherever you go, whether it's horse races or a casino or wherever you're supposed to go to bet on a sport, I don't know, and you bet on it right then and there, cash. They end up winning. You get the cash out. You have 12 hours for the rest of the day to go and do whatever you want with that money.
But then you'd have to do that every day.
You know it's going to work.
You don't have to.
You don't have to. You can decide not
Well,
to.
if you
know
wanna
what, today I'm going to take it easy.
enjoy
I'm
whatever
just going to go get
things-
Chick-fil-A. Take it easy. Tomorrow, you know what? I'm going to take it easy, except I'm going to go to Outback. You know?
I think I'll take 3 years off my life. I don't know what's going to happen in my life. I don't know.
Oh, those last 3 are horrible anyway.
Probably. I mean, I don't know when I'll die. I could be really young. I could be really old.
I mean, we never know when we're going to die.
Yeah, I do not want to be in pain. when I
Well,
get
okay,
older.
now that I'm saying that, because what if it's like, okay, we'll fast forward 3 years, and then all of a sudden it's like, boop, you're gone.
Yeah, is it 3 years on the back end? Is it 3 years now? And you
It's
just
got
don't
to
know.
be 3 years on the back end.
Well, that's the thing. What if you don't know when your back end is? Like, I'm 23 right now. That sounded funny. Where is it at?
right there.
But like, I'm 23 right now. What if like, and God, please don't let this happen. But we'll say at like 25, I die, right? Like, if I decide, okay, I'll fast forward 3 years. Well, guess what? I'm gone.
You're gone.
and I don't know that.
You wouldn't know.
Poof.
That changed my perspective. I'm doing the one day. Even if it's a bad day, I think I might be able to
I'm
change
doing
it.
3 years off.
Because if you also imagine if you knew your bad days were going to be those bad days, you could kind of maybe change it, you know?
There's some things that happen in life that
I
you
mean,
can't
yeah,
change.
like there are some bad things,
If I had
but
to repeat my day for a year, learn a new language.
oh yeah,
Could you do
learn to
that in a
cook.
day, though? Huh? Could you do that in a day?
You don't forget that skill every day. And so you're building on it every day.
Bro,
Learn 5
I
words
can-
today. Learn 10 words today. Learn.
I don't think I
I
could.
think there's a lot you could actually do if you just had the same day over and over, especially if you knew it was going to reset.
Yeah. If you knew it was
Trial
going
by error. Like, oh, that ain't gonna work. Well, I'll do it tomorrow.
I blew my hand off. I'll just wait till I go to sleep.
Well, 30 Walmart sex didn't work.
I got 2 broken legs. I'll dedicate one day just to
Day
be.
362.
Yeah.
Guys, I don't think this is going to work at all.
I've been calculating this for days upon days upon days. I don't know, guys.
Oh, man.
This is test run number 364. I don't know if it's a leap
Yep.
year or not, so this might be it,
Yep.
but I don't know. Going for it. Jumps one last time. But yeah, that changed.
Spending the rest
Okay,
of
no,
your
that
day in
changed
the
my
hospital.
perspective. Not knowing when you're gonna die, that changed my perspective. I'm gonna do the year. The year
1
of
year.
the same
I'm
day.
1 year in.
I'm 3 years off is fine with me.
I'm taking the 1 year. Yep. I learned so much.
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy.
Squeezy. So yeah, we're in a new series starting tonight or Wednesday.
Yes. You will be hearing this on Saturday.
That's right. Yeah, so missing Christmas. We're getting to the Christmas season, y'all. So we, which I think is funny, our sermon series follows very closely to what the rest of the church is doing.
Giving up on Christmas.
Yeah, giving up on Christmas, and ours is a missing Christmas. And so exploring 3 different ways that we could easily miss Christmas. And this week we're going over distractions.
Yeah.
Next week is selfishness, and the following week is disappointments.
Yeah.
And so, so yeah, what have you what's your takeaway of this week?
Really, one of the main things is that I'm going to say to the middle schoolers is how Satan will do whatever he can to try to get your eyes off of what Christmas is actually celebrated for. And I actually bring up 3 very specific things that happen every single year that I think Satan uses to distract us from what actually needs to be celebrated. And one of the main things, and it's an awful thing, but honestly, I think death. Because always, every year during Christmas time, there's a 6% raise of deaths per day every year during Christmas time. And I just thought that was insane. I think it was like on average, it's 150,000 people die every day. And specifically during the week of Christmas, it raised to 260,000, like an insane rate kind of thing.
Is that just in the U.S. or?
I think it was the world is what I looked up. I can check and make sure. Yeah, so I thought that was one way because, I mean, Satan will try to get you down and get you to the point where you don't want to celebrate Christmas. You don't want to get to next year to that time. Because, I mean, that's the thing is that people always celebrate or they always say like, oh, this is my first holiday without or something like that. So Satan will try to use somebody's death or something to distract you from what we actually need to be celebrating. And that's our Savior, you know? And then the next thing that I bring up, and this is actually crazy, and I'll ask you this question. How many Christmases do you go to for Christmas? Like, how many different places do you go to for Christmas?
It's just 2 for me. But that's more than what it used to be for me. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So growing up, Christmas was a little different because we were military. So we'd either have people at our house or we go to their house. So it wasn't a whole lot.
Yeah.
Now that I'm married, we go to my mom's and we go to Hannah's parents, and so it's busy though because we got to drive a long way to get down there. So
between Texas and here and everything. For me, I went to 3 before I was married. Now I go to 6.
Ugh.
Now that I am married,
Why?
which that's split between Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. It's not all in one day. But this is what's crazy. Another statistic that I pulled up. I just pulled up all the statistics about Christmas. The average person in America, so this is just in the U.S., goes to 5 different houses on Christmas Day. Is that not insane? Like 5 in one day? Like you don't even get to really celebrate like where you're at.
Y'all just need to consolidate.
Yeah. And so, I know, honestly, why don't you all just go to one house?
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's wild. And so that's one thing that I think Satan uses is busyness, right? Like he tries to distract you from actually being able to sit and enjoy time with family and friends and celebrating what actually needs to be celebrated because you're like, oh, we ate, we got gifts. All right, let's leave. We got another house. And then the last thing is gifts. It's actually how, like, even though we can be very generous with gifts and actually bless people by giving them gifts, but there's some people that, especially during Christmas time, they're greedy. They just want gifts. They're like, oh, I want this so bad. And if you don't get it, it ruins the whole holiday.
Every time the commercial comes on, I want that.
I want that.
I want that. I'm like, dude, I know.
Have y'all done that thing to where you give them the magazine and they circle what they want or anything like that? Oh, man, that was the best.
Nope.
I loved doing that as a kid.
I've got something I'm going to do with Bo this year. I think it'll be pretty cool.
But so really those are like 3 specific things that I say Satan uses to try to distract us from the real point of Christmas. Is we need to celebrate the fact that, one, why would we not celebrate the person that was literally born that gives us the ability to go to heaven? Like, why would we not celebrate that? Aside from the fact that, yes, this is the day that Jesus was born, from a miracle and everything, why would we not celebrate the fact that, wow, this is the day our Lord and Savior was born. And so I think Satan will do anything he can to distract you. And I mean, I'm assuming just because we've talked about it, like you're talking about how Joseph and Mary, like they had some distractions in their life.
Yeah.
Too.
So I'm going to start off talking about the Grinch. I love the Grinch. It's one of my favorite.
Animated or live action?
I love all of them, but
too.
I'm talking about the live action one, and I think it fits well with our theme.
Oh, yeah.
And so distractions. There's a scene where Cindy Lou is walking with her dad, and it's the craziness of Christmas. Everyone's trying to get their gifts and all this other stuff going on. And she looks at, and Dad's like, "Oh, isn't Christmas the greatest time of the year?" And she's like, "I guess." And he's like, "What?" And she said, "Everyone just kind of discombobulated." And there's a word she uses. I had to look it up because I couldn't remember what it is. But right now, I can't remember.
Fancy word.
What word? It's a... I can't remember. It's like a word that I've never used, never said. So, but basically it means like over the top. It's extra, right? Superfluous, I think is what it's. Is that what it is?
I don't
That's a fancy word though.
I think
Whether
that's
it's
what it
real
is.
or not, it sounds fancy. So I'll agree.
But basically talking about how everyone's just they're so stinking busy and worried. And there's even a scene where a guy gets ran over by a motorcycle because they're just trying to get through.
Yeah. They're like, nah, gotta
And
keep going.
so, and she even has a song that's like, "Where are you, Christmas?" It's a really awkward song, but because you're just like, this girl cannot sing at all. but yeah, so she's like, basically it boils down to like, is something happened to me, or is like, do I just not understand what Christmas is, or is this not what Christmas is about? And so, we're talking about how Mary and Joseph, like they had to, Mary's pregnant by a miracle, and it's like super taboo at this time for what's going on, right? They're having to travel a long way to get to where Joseph was born for the census. There's no room for them in Bethlehem, so they have to stay where they keep livestock, right? And so like all these things are kind of accumulating, and actually there's one person who misses out on Christmas. You know who that is? The innkeeper. Right? Because he tells Mary, "Hey, I got no room for you," which I think is crazy. It's like, dude, he's so busy because of the census. Everyone's having to come home, but you turn away a woman who is pregnant, probably like close to giving birth.
Can't imagine that.
Yeah, and so it's just like he misses out. He's like, "Hey, I got no room for you."
Yeah.
And so, talking about how they face all these different distractions and how we face similar distractions in our life, and so how do we not miss out on Christmas? Well, we've got to. I think Mary and the shepherds do a good job of kind of showing this. And Mary, she treasured the things that were happening and pondered on these things in her heart, right? So remembering the reason, and that reason is Jesus. That reason is for relationships, right? And then the shepherds, they left glorifying God, and they were sharing what they had heard from the angel with Mary and Joseph and the people who were there. Yeah, and that's when people started like being amazed by what they saw and heard. And then after meeting Jesus, they left glorifying God. And so that's the second point I have is, to avoid distractions, we should be glorifying God. We should be praising Him for the greatest gift on earth. Yeah. And also sharing it with the people around us.
Well, and really that's something that I even kind of bring up is I bring up like my favorite Christmas tradition. But then I simply ask the questions to all the middle schoolers is, do your traditions glorify God? And not saying it's a bad thing. Like, I mean, my tradition, it doesn't glorify God. I'll be honest. It's a Christmas ornament tradition. My grandma every year buys an ornament representing something you did that year.
I wouldn't say it dishonors God, though,
it
right?
doesn't dishonor. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't dishonor God.
Yeah.
But is it something we do specifically to glorify God? No. And I think that's something we need to look at when we're celebrating is what can we do to specifically glorify God on this holiday?
Yeah, we didn't have a whole lot of traditions like I talked about growing up in the military, but actually the one thing I remember was my dad would always, before we opened gifts, would always read the Christmas story from the Bible.
Yeah.
And that really stuck with me. Like there was, I remember one time I came back from college for Christmas, and I remember sitting there listening to him read it, and I felt emotion well up inside me because of the story and just the thought of what was happening to Mary and Joseph, and the fact that God gave something so precious to him for the purpose of one day dying, right?
I mean, to go live a perfect life and die. And like, oh my gosh.
To take on our sin when he knew no sin, right? And so that's something that's always stuck with me. That's something that I would like to continue with my family.
I like that.
Because honestly, like, I'm a Grinch. I love Christmas for what Christmas is, but
You don't say.
I hate all the other stuff about Christmas.
Using the movie as well.
Yeah. So the Grinch is my favorite character.
Yeah.
The only thing I like about Christmas that's not like about Christmas is Christmas lights.
Yeah.
I love Christmas lights.
Christmas lights do look cool. I like Christmas lights. But yeah, I mean, lots of distractions out there, so it's just up to us as believers. We got to make sure we're celebrating it in the right way.
Remembering the reason.
Yep. Remember the reason.
So cool. Well,
You said you like lights?
yeah.
You like putting them up?
I love putting Christmas lights up. I think it's fun.
Is this about to be a plug?
Brian and I put up Christmas lights, so hit us up.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored.
But yeah, it's fun. I don't know. There's like, I actually think there's some fun houses to get on.
I get kind of scared. Especially when I'm by myself. I'm like, wow, if I fall, nobody's going
I had one moment though this year where I had stepped backwards going up and I like slipped.
Oh.
And so like I'm starting to slide and I catch myself with my hands. My hands got kind of cut up.
I will say, like the podcast where we talked about Spider-Man's powers, that would be phenomenal for this job.
Oh,
Because I feel like
I'd be
Spider-Man,
flying
I
through
can't
this.
stick to stuff. Like I'm holding on like in weird positions. And here's a light. Here's a light. Like, I mean, I'm in a weird like position on the side of the house hanging on and my feet are up here and like all this stuff. Like I feel like Spider-Man, except I just don't feel as confident as Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But
that's
yeah,
fun.
Christmas. Don't miss Christmas.
Christmas.
Don't make it criminal.
You had a stroke.
never mind.
You remember that? You remember you remember that one girl on Vine, not TikTok, on Vine?
Yeah.
But she was like, hey, criminal.
No, I don't remember that.
Happy Chrysler.
I remember that.
It's the same girl.
Is it?
It's all in one video. She
Do it for
says
the
Merry
Vine.
Christmas like 20 different times.
Good old
Do it for the
Vine.
Vine.
Do it for the Vine. I ain't gonna do it. Do it for the Vine. I ain't gonna do it.
Twitter really messed up that deal.
Yeah. I think Vine personally was better than TikTok.
Vine was
I like
legit.
Vine. Vine was fun.
7 seconds. you gotta be
TikTok's just people
creative.
dancing, I feel like.
Yeah.
That's what it
I
like
don't know what
started
your
off.
algorithm looks like, but
I don't
mine
have an
doesn't.
algorithm.
Mine doesn't. Mine does not dancing.
I don't have anytime I
Dogs.
see advertisement.
Dogs.
Yours is dogs?
That's all it is.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about. I didn't say anything else. I just said dogs.
What's that meme going around where he's like,
Like he starts crying.
yeah.
Oh, that's what we exited on. Hold on. I got it.
My algorithm's all ADHD.
No way.
That's my YouTube algorithm.
And my Instagram.
Aaron Rodgers' 21-day practice window has opened. Tore his Achilles on the first night of Monday Night Football.
He's gonna bring the
And
Jets
he's
to the Super Bowl.
practicing.
Wow.
Imagine if he did. That'd be
Imagine.
wild. Let me see. Hold on. I sent it to Bailey so that way we could keep that sound because me and Bailey laugh at that sound all the time. Where's it at?
Is this a walkout?
Yeah, this is our walkout song. How do you guys feel? Or no. Dang it, hold on.
It's
Trying to figure
Dad,
out how we could
it's-
word this good.
All right. How do you feel about the CRVC student or the CRVC student ministry podcast ending?
See you guys next week.